LL Nation, what's good?
What's good?
What's good? Pop your collars this morning, Notre Dame fans. Stick your chest out. It's a lot to be thankful for. Lucky Lefty Podcast. I'm your boy, Shaun Davis at SV2 Mics, the original Lucky Lefty himself, Malik Zaire. We are brought to you by Onora Whiskey. OnoraWhiskey.com. It is that premium American whiskey. OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure that you drink
responsibly.
You gotta drink responsibly. Well, we had 99 problems or 99 good things and one problem in the 2023 recruiting class.
Mm-hmm.
All of that might change.
All of that
on Saturday on Senior Day. Of course, we're going to talk about the decommitment of Kenny Minchy from Pitt, his upcoming visit to Notre Dame this weekend, the connection. We already posted, and thank you all. It is doing fantastic. Malik, after watching this young man with his own eyes at the Elite 11, came back and talked about the young man, broke down his film, and told us why he was the perfect fit in the 2023 quarterback crop for Tommy Rees and his Notre Dame offense. We posted it on the YouTube page. We thank you for supporting that the way you did. It hasn't even been 24 hours, and I think it's approaching 3,000 views. So, LL Nation, you've been fantastic. The climb to 3,000 is real. I think we're 10 subscribers away from reaching our goal that we wanted to reach by the end of the season. And it's all because of you, LL Nation, that we continue to spin it different. Let me finish my collar, dude. I can't pop it right if I don't fix it. All right, there we go. Also, we are available now. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, on CFB Nation in conjunction with Irish Breakdown. Go check us out. Subscribe, download, set up the automatic download, and go ahead and leave us 5 stars. We greatly appreciate it. And we love all your comments. We love and appreciate Notre Dame fans and any other fan from a fan base across college football that chimes in to check out the Lucky Lefty podcast, because you know when you tap in, we spin it different. We'll also hear from Marcus Freeman, his Monday press conference. Some very interesting things to say. The residue from the Navy game. What did they learn? How do they move forward? And the plan for youngsters like Jabron Payne and Jalen Sneed moving forward as well. Topic for today. You see it right there, the theme of the show. Save USC for later. There's 2 ways things can happen. You can let a team beat you twice.
Yeah.
It can happen 2 different ways. And that's the challenge for Notre Dame this week. Not to allow Navy to beat them. They beat them last week, but they can't allow Navy to beat them this week. We'll talk about that as well. Let's talk Kenny Minchy, Elite 11. You laid your eyes on him. And before I let you go and explain to LL Nation and all the Fighting Irish fans why you love this kid so much, let's just talk about the timeline of the decommitment. Notre Dame reached out sometime late September. He was already committed to Pitt. Just a young man that wanted to stick to his word and stick to his commitment. His family loves Notre Dame. There's a connection to Golden Tate with his family. Not just because they came from the same high school in Hendersonville, Tennessee, but there's a connection to the family. Mom, dad love Notre Dame. Notre Dame was a dream school for them. Notre Dame was kind of late to the party as far as recruiting him. You understand why? Dante Moore, he decommits They move on. Because they felt like Kenny Minchey was so tied into his commitment, it was really between him and Austin Novosad. They went after Austin Novosad and brought him in for a visit. Austin Novosad decided to stick with his commitment to Baylor. Now there's news that Austin Novosad still might be looking to possibly flip, which is hilarious.
Hilarious.
But that just lets you know, like, when something is for you, bro, it's for you.
It's for you.
Yeah. So Kenny Minchey, he goes on, he gets injured early in the season. He injures his shoulder. Nothing structural. Everything's fine. And he comes back. I think he plays like a total of 5 games in his senior season. And we're going to get to his senior film, which, if you thought his junior film was something when Malik broke it down, wait until you hear Malik talk about his senior film in a few moments. So we go through the season, and you basically have Notre Dame on in their household each and every week. So imagine that you're a Pitt commit, your household is full of Notre Dame fans, the Notre Dame game is on each and every week, and it's tugging at your heart. It's tugging at your heart. Like, even though you know, man, I committed to Pitt, I committed to Coach Narduzzi, I'm locked in, I've been up there multiple times for game day visits, I'm an early enrollee, I'm the head of this class, I'm the face of this class. By the way, he was the only 4-star in that class, bro. The only 4-star in that class. And it just kept pulling on him. And I truly believe things started to turn. And this is why we say in recruiting, there's nothing more important than recruiting. You can call, you can text, you can, talk sweet to the mom, you can sell the dad. There's nothing better in recruiting than the product you put on the field. And I fully believe the product that Notre Dame has been able to put on the field with Syracuse and Clemson move things in a direction to where Kenny Minchey started to listen to his heart more than his head. Because his head was telling the man, stick to your word. His heart the entire time was telling him, man, I love Notre Dame. And this was the tug of war that was going on with the young man. He reached out to Notre Dame. Now, this is the killer part. He made contact with Notre Dame.
Which we do. Which we've said that people, you've said it, I've said it.
What did we say?
They watching the TV like, maybe I should call those guys and check in how they doing.
And you said it last week.
Yeah.
You said it last week, bro. You said there is no better house on the market than the Notre Dame quarterback room. You said
it's on a beachfront.
Yes.
And it's going for low. It's almost Section 8.
I'm not gonna go that low. I can't rock with that. Come on, we talking Notre Dame. No. No. Not on the beachfront. There's no way.
Yeah,
you get on the beachfront.
What
beachfront is this?
Right in Palos Verdes. Nice.
I thought you were gonna say something like Indiana Dunes or something. How you gonna be in Palos Verdes on the beachfront talk? Man, stop playing. All right, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you. I just can't rock with that Section 8. Go ahead, Lev. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But we mentioned it. We said that just the way we played Clemson and seeing that offensive line, and even beyond that, the potential of what the guys can bring as the skill position with a great running game is pre-Alabama with McElroy. And when they had McElroy, they had a great running game, great defense, great O-line. They were just missing that next level piece. And once they got that next level quarterback change, they became the dynasty that they became in winning the championships that they did. So I'm not surprised, even though it's a rare occurrence in college football that a top traditional program is open to calls.
Yeah.
When's the last time they were fielding calls for recruits to be like, hey, I'd like to try out, take a stab at it. I mean, I'm still over here available. I could be a free agent for you. So I think it shows where we're headed and in addressing the situation, and Marcus Freeman isn't shying away from it. So I know he's still on the forefront of recruiting, and he ain't forgot that we had some recruiting losses at that position in the 23 class, and I know he wants to seal it with a great finish to the class as well.
Lucky Lefty podcast. We are discussing the decommitment of 6'3", 205-pound quarterback in the 2023 class out of Hendersonville, Tennessee, Pope John Paul II High School. Now, just the fact he goes to Pope John Paul II High School, along with the fact that the last player to come from there ended up being pretty good for Notre Dame. His name was Golden Tate. You might have heard of him.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. So that pipeline of success, yeah, we might want to try it again. He's the decommit from the Pitt program, and now he'll be visiting Notre Dame this upcoming Saturday on Senior Day. Tons of pageantry, tons of emotion. Should be a great show that Notre Dame, Chad Bowden, and the rest of the staff, they'll have the opportunity. And I can tell you this already. Drake Bowen reached out to me when the rumors, I was literally doing a show on IB, and Drake Bowen reached out to me and was like, yo, is he good?
Is he?
And then, true story. He said, is he good? I said, yeah. And I sent him the link. I sent him the link to your breakdown. And I said, he watched him. Malik watched him at Elite 11. And he loves the kid. Guess what the next question from Drake Bowen was?
What was the next question?
How tall is he?
Yep.
Like even the recruits, Drake was like, how tall is he though?
Yeah, is he got some height?
So I was like, look, when you see him Saturday, you'll be eye to eye with him.
Yeah.
When you see him Saturday.
I was surprised how tall he was. Like he tall now. I was like, oh, okay, what's up, Mr. Minchy? All right.
Yeah. So it is as dire straits as the quarterback situation in the 2023 class were 2 weeks ago. For everything to happen as quickly as it did. Because once Kenny Minchey made the phone call to Notre Dame to inquire if there was still interest, when I tell you Tommy Reese, Chad Bowden, they all did their due diligence to move quickly. And everybody was on board. Everybody was on board, and they worked on their end. And then after working on their end, they allowed this young man to go ahead and do what he needed to do to alert the Pitt program. And I think officially the Pitt program was alerted late Saturday night, early Sunday morning that he was decommitting.
Because of new developments.
So we talk about Notre Dame and the quarterback situation. Malik, you said it perfectly last week when you said, look, if you are a quarterback that is looking to decommit or possibly has yet to commit in the 23 class, tell me a situation that's better than the Notre Dame quarterback situation.
Yeah.
You said it. You said with this offensive line, running backs, the wide receivers coming in, tell me a situation that's better if you're a quarterback looking to decommit or commit. If you're a quarterback in the transfer portal, eventually, tell me a better situation than Notre Dame. And you were right. And I think the product of Syracuse, the product of the Clemson game, I think that really turned the tide for Kenny Minchey And I think he started to be able to see it on the field like, I can win a national championship there. I don't know if I know he probably didn't really feel that. Maybe he felt like he could win an ACC championship at Pitt, but he didn't get the feeling that he could win a national championship at Pitt. If he watched that Clemson game, he got a glimpse of it and probably said to himself, yo, I know the receivers they have coming in. I know the running backs they have coming in. I see the offensive line. The 2 tackles are there for another year at least. I can go make this happen. Because I'm telling you now, he's not coming here to sit. He's not coming here to sit. He might sit, but he's not coming in with the mentality, oh, I'm coming. He's coming to compete. He's an early enrollee. He's definitely academically qualified. Admissions is pretty much, they went through all of that process. So Saturday, hopefully, he locks in and Notre Dame will have their quarterback. And this is a situation where, Left, I'll read this for you. And because we pointed this out, this is very important, right? Because we always talk about how we don't like these posts on social media when guys decommit. We feel like, look, if you call the coach, you're good. You don't have to say anything to anybody else. But this was his decommitment post yesterday. I want to thank Coach Narduzzi, Coach Signetti, Coach DiBiaso, and the rest of the coaching staff at Pitt for believing in me and providing me with an opportunity to play college football. After prayer and conversations with my family, I have decided to decommit from the University of Pittsburgh. Thank you to everyone who has helped and supported me through this hard decision. K. Minchy. You know what's missing from that?
What?
He didn't say my recruitment is open. He didn't say my recruitment is now open.
He said it's not going there no more. He didn't say I'm out there venturing for new prospects.
Right.
He didn't say I'm open for new recruitment.
Yeah.
He just said, hey, thanks for the shot. ... I'm on the bigger and better things.
Yeah.
I think I've taken that step into the paradise, the land of the milk and honey.
Yeah. So if you're going to be at the game this weekend, Notre Dame fans, be on your best behavior. Because honestly, the only thing that can happen is that something catastrophic happens to ruin this. Because this should be Kenny Minchey putting the crown on the 2023 recruiting class. Kenny Minchey should be the piece that truly takes this recruiting class to an historic level at Notre Dame.
Yeah, we talking about historic, and I think it's going to be really good to see a class finish at the right time, the end of the season, seal it up with a nice quarterback. Maybe throwing Pemba in there if that he sees the trajectory of where we're going. But I think this is the right move. Like you said, some things are meant for some guys, and I think the way the cards fell were the right way to secure a quarterback in the way we're going to do it, and it's going to be perfect for it.
Yeah, speaking of that, and Pemba did put out his final 14 yesterday. Notre Dame did not make the list. We pretty much knew that was trending that way. No worries. We'll get to 2 other recruits that have set dates and also put Notre Dame in their top 10. We had 2 guys from the 24 class, and then we had 1 young gentleman from North Oconee, Georgia, who was recently at the Clemson game that set a date that's about 2 weeks away to decide between Clemson, Notre Dame, and Oklahoma. We'll talk about that shortly. So sticking to Kenny Minchey. Ultimately, he makes a call. Things are fast track. He goes ahead. He decommits this weekend. And now he's headed to Notre Dame. And he's not committed right now. But if I were a betting man, I would go to Vegas and lay the bet that the commitment takes place soon. Because I don't think he decommitted to look at other schools. He decommitted for Notre Dame.
That's right.
He didn't decommit. Once again, he made the call. You have to put all of the pieces together. He made the call to inquire. Are you guys still interested? I'm thinking about this. They work together to get things on track. They set up the visit. He's visiting. He decommits. He did not decommit to look at other schools. He decommitted because Notre Dame wanted him.
That's right.
So I know a lot of people are like, well, he didn't commit. Once again, he decommitted from Pitt because Notre Dame said they wanted him. And that's why he decommitted.
That's right.
It's as simple as that. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Left, I'm ready to loose you, bro. I already know you're super excited to talk about the 6'3", 205-pound quarterback from Hendersonville. Let's get to it.
I love his tape. First thing you gotta notice. First thing you gotta notice is his size. Love the size, and I love the fact that he's interested in Notre Dame. And a lot of what I appreciate about this kid and what I see already that he plays at his own pace. And that's something that you find is really rare. A guy that can play at his own pace where he looks like nothing is affecting him no matter what the front looks like. He's going to take his nice drop, find his little space, and deliver the football. This is not a running highlight type of thing where the guy looks erratic. He looks like he's trying to play, find things to do, find space to find time. He's directed and intentional in his movement in the pocket, and it's at his own pace. He's not rushed by a guy in his face. Please. He's like, excuse me 1 second. Let me just go in there and find the window. And the best thing about it is that his touch pass, I have to bring it up. That's his best quality. To have touch pass gives the receivers chance to get yards after the catch, which is the most important thing when you have a bunch of skilled players that are elite at your position. They're going to love this quarterback. I used to love playing for the fact that if I had touch pass with a Will Fuller, touch pass with a guy like Jaden Thomas or Braden Lindsey or Tobias Merriweather, these are plays that are 30-yard plays that turn into touchdowns. You got to cut off the highlight because the guy's running after you. You're not looking for the run. You're looking for just to throw in the catch. But guys are making plays after the catch because he's able to be on time. The other thing he has is a quick release. A quick release is important because he can fit balls in late and he can fit balls in with anticipation, and he's able to add great touch when he can get the ball while being hit as well as dropping on the money. So for a kid to be as active and calm as he is in the pocket, that's an attractive quality for a big-time D1 quarterback because if he's at this pace now, it's not going to change when he's getting in front of 6'6" linemen and SEC D linemen and therefore after. I think the pace is what stands out the most, which makes you most game ready because he's going to be able to learn the system that he's in and the ability to have to put the ball wherever he wants. Like you have to question if he has a deep arm or not. Does he have a strong arm? It doesn't matter because the touch is there. And when you have the touch, you can make any throw in the book and you can give your guys chances when you need it the most. I mean, he's making throws off the back foot. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous because he's able to trust himself, throw it in the back of the end zone where not only the receiver can't go any deeper, but you got three guys in there looking to make a play, and he's making plays all over the place with confidence and and accuracy. And you got guys putting the ball, it looks like Aaron Rodgers-esque. It's like the guys look covered, but they're not covered because the perfect ball beats the perfect defense every time. Kenny Minchey's got arm strength, accuracy, pace, and a lot of touch. The RPO, he makes it look easy. His footwork is simple. It doesn't look like he's erratic, like he's Dak Prescott in it out there or Josh Allen out there. He's making the pass catch look very easy. And what's also important is how this fits into our offense. A lot of what we do in the run game is important. But if you can get back there and be on second down and third down and do stuff like this, just drop it in the hole, make it easy for guys to play football with you and around you, you're going to start to see a dynamic offense on all levels. On all levels, you're going to see guys that are making highlights as veterans and guys that coming in on day one as freshmen and making plays that stand out. I think he's a guy that can make everybody better on an offense, be a great compliment, and not have to be the main ingredient. He doesn't have to be the Jameis Winston of the team to get the team to the championship. He just needs the talent that we already have, and that's going to be a dangerous mix in stopping what we can do on offense. This is a 40-plus point quarterback that we can add to an offense that's already dynamic and it's just missing one or two pieces.
Here's a great question from Rob Tidoff that I'm not sure anybody else that talks Notre Dame football can answer. Besides this dude has seen him up close and personal. Rob Tidoff says, is he 6'1" or 6'3"? Some publications have him at 6'1", some have him at 6'3".
He's taller than me, so I'm exactly 6 feet tall, like exactly, can't miss it. And he's the type of kid you'll see him, you're like, oh, we eye level, but then you'll see him again, you're like, oh, he a little taller than me. And then if you put his cleats on, you go, oh, this dude is like 6'5". So he's one of the guys where I'll probably be. He's 6'1" one week, he plays big. He's 6'3" the next week. So he's taller than me, and I know I'm 6 feet. So there you go.
Yeah. So let's just split the difference and say 6'2".
Yeah.
Look,
I would say he's on the bigger side, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like he's like forehead bigger than me.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're talking about 6'3", 205 pounds. That's great to know. So once again, that's the breakdown of Kenny Minchey's film brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. Left, you started to tease it a little bit, but maybe you can go into it. I'll set it up. You were at the Elite 11. You get back and you call me. And I'm thinking you're about to tell me about Dante. And the first thing you said to me was, forget Jackson Arnold, forget Dante. It's this dude named
Kenny Minchey. I remember because I thought he was Dante at first. That's when I told you that.
Because of the hair.
Because the hair. But I was like, he bigger than Dante. And then he knew who I was. And I was like, oh, what's up? And then he was a real good dude, you could tell he knew what was going on. Like he wasn't like a kid that was just like, wow, I'm at the Elite 11. He was a kid that was like, okay, I heard about you. I know about you. I looked at you, whatever, like real knowledgeable type of kid. And he definitely stood out personality-wise. I think sometimes you can tell a dude from a dude just on how they, approach the field and go about, mixing amongst other dudes. You could be a dude amongst dudes and you can stand out. I think that stood out to me because I was like, okay, I was looking for Dante the whole time, but he just stood out amongst. That's why I called you, which is crazy. And then watching him throw, you could just tell a guy that's in control and knows his own ability. I think a lot of times guys are always on that, oh, he has so much potential. I think Kenny understands himself from an athlete perspective. Like I wouldn't say he's a burner, but he's got the athleticism of a Bryce Young or a Russell Wilson where, he'll get out of some stuff and he might scramble like a Patrick Mahomes. And you'd be like, how is he running for like all these yards? He ain't fast, but he can get places. And so I think that's the perfect athleticism when you combine that with a really, really talented arm, something you can't really teach. That's the type of quarterback that wins a lot of football games because he gives you just enough of everything you need, and then you put players with him. I mean, you're going to start seeing a dynamic offense that Tommy is going to grow with and evolve with because the chains and the cuffs on the offense is not going to be limited. You're going to see more than just Michael Mayer do his thing. So I do believe that he has that special kind of feel to him, even more so than Dante. I thought Dante was great at the Elite 11. I mean, he did a lot of great things, but even I told you about the rankings, like Kenny was in the top 10 the whole time, was always competing and, surviving at that spot. He just was going to Pittsburgh. So people really didn't know, but from a all-around perspective, I really like where he's at from a head space, and his talent is, and especially from that film, you can tell he can do a lot of special things with the football outside of just being accurate. And that's next level stuff that we need. We got guys that are deep threats, but also possession guys, but also guys that can do a lot of work if they catch it at 5 and turn it to 15, 20. So this is a kid that can give you all of those options and know how to survive a play without, less Ian Book playmaking ability where he's going to run sideline to sideline. He's going to be more playmaking within the pocket, throwing some crazy dimes that you're going to ooh and ah about, which is what, we really be wanting at Notre Dame.
Yeah, here's a question from Never Lost Runner, which goes to the next thing you told me on that particular phone call. And I was like, yo, did you just say that? You remember saying, yo, because I want to preface this, like you have a really good relationship with Dante going back a year now. And you talked about, yo, I like Dante, don't get me wrong, but this dude might actually fit better with Tommy Rees. And I was like, what? Because at that point, I'm like, yo, Dante's like top 3 nation, 5-star. You're like, yeah, I love Dante, but this guy might be a better fit. And it goes to this question: who would you rather have, Dante or Kenny?
Sure. I'd rather have both of them, honestly. We can get 2. That'd be great. Obviously, Dante is at Oregon, so I would take Kenny. But I think like it just came at the right time. I was sold on Dante. I didn't know about Kenny until I met him at Elite 11 and always knew he could be good enough to come to Notre Dame. And once Dante decided to go to Oregon, I just knew who we should call after that. And then for it to coincide in the way they, made contact with Notre Dame, I think it's one of those things that we all kind of see that how things are shaking out where guys are committing, that this is a kid that can really, be underratedly a great pick and a great spot for him, especially what the QB room looks like now and even moving forward.
So once again, 4-star 2023 quarterback Kenny Minchy, Hendersonville, Tennessee, Pope John Paul II High School, that also produced former Notre Dame wide receiver Golden Tate. He decommits from Pitt. He'll be visiting for the Boston College game, senior day, all the pageantry. I'm sure the staff, headed by Chad Bowden, is going to do a fantastic job of giving this young man and his family the show that they need, everything they need to go ahead and pull the final trigger to put the crown on what was already considered a top 3 to top 5 recruiting class by Marcus Freeman and his staff in the class of 2023. Now you add that quarterback. It's time to rock and roll. It's time to rock and roll. There's hope. Like we know this season in 2022 did not go as expected, but the future is bright within the Notre Dame program. Lucky Lefty Podcast. As always, available right now, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, CFB Nation, in conjunction with Irish Breakdown. Subscribe to us. The Climate 3000 is real. We've almost reached our goal, and it's because of you, LL Nation, and your continued support. You inspire us to get up each and every day and talk Notre Dame football. We love you guys. We love your support. The chat is always on fire. We couldn't do it without you. Subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, share, let everybody know. Lucky Lefty Podcast, the fastest growing podcast centered on Notre Dame football. We spin it different. All right, Left. Marcus Freeman. He talked about learning things post-game against Navy. Well, he met with the media yesterday, and I actually liked the projection from the things I heard from the head coach of the Fighting Irish. Even though he wants to move on, and we would like to move on from Navy, he says there's still a little residue and some things that they can learn from the Navy game And that's what they dealt with on Sunday at practice and a little bit on Monday.
Into that game, it wasn't going to be easy. We knew it wasn't, but we found a way to get it done, and that's what matters. And it's a tale of two halves, and I know we'll address it here in a little bit, but again, the ability to score 35 points against that defense that's unorthodox at times, and another block punt was huge for us. The second half execution wasn't where we would liked it to be, obviously, but the lessons you can learn in the situations that occurred in that second half are priceless. They're valuable, and the ability to learn from a win is something that as a coach you love to be able to do. And so it was really good to be able to address some of those situations in the game that happened yesterday in the meeting and in practice, and continue to enjoy a victory Sunday. So players of the game on offense was Braden Lindsay. On defense, Xavier Watts, and special teams was Jack Kaiser. And as we look forward to Saturday, it starts off with it being senior day here. We have 25 guys that will be recognized for their last game in Notre Dame Stadium. And so that's where a lot of the motivation and focus will be in terms of making sure we finish this home regular season off the right way for these seniors. And then we're playing a really good BC team that's coming off a huge win. And, they do some really good things on film. And so we'll have to prepare and look forward to another battle here on Saturday night. So
learning from the Navy game. And that, matter of fact, before we get to this, let me go ahead and kind of extend upon that. What Marcus Freeman said about the Navy game and the difference between the first half and the second half. He spoke about it post-game on Saturday, but he dug a little bit more into it yesterday to explain why Navy's pressure. Bob, and I want to play this now for you, Lee, so you can really dig into what he's saying from a quarterback standpoint.
They were bringing a lot of pressure, but they did the first half too, and we were able to get the guys blocked. And at times you're not able to run the ball when they have that many people in the box, and you're going to have to throw it. Well, we weren't able to complete some of those passes that we wanted to throw, and for multiple different reasons. Could have been protection, could have been getting the ball out of hand, could have been precision of the routes, could have been a whole bunch of different things, but we weren't able to really establish a passing game in the second half, and they continue to bring pressure, which is really hard to run the ball against. There was a difference in defenses, obviously, with what Clemson did and what Navy was doing in terms of, what they were doing defensively against our offense. And so in order to get them out of all that pressure, you're going to have to complete some passes, which we did in the first half, but we weren't able to really get it going in the second half.
Look, I think at the end of the day, it was a great opportunity to show what we need to be ready for next time. And I can just hold evaluation for when the next team is going to show it, because they're going to show it. Now, if we go into this next game, look at how we looked at Navy about handling that 0, then I can give a better example. You can make up a ton of excuses. We didn't have an answer for it. We didn't have a plan for it. And damn near looked like we didn't have the guy to be able to manage it either. It's a huge concern, but I do believe we have the coaching staff to be able to manage that and be prepared for it next time.
Yeah, like I said, this Navy game gave me a piece about this team. I'm no longer on the roller coaster. I feel like I know who this version of Notre Dame football is in 2022. It's just an inconsistent football team. It's disappointing because some of the struggles have come via the veterans on the roster. And that's a bit disconcerting. I think Marcus Freeman is trying to wrap his head around why. He talked about missing assignments against the blitz. He talked about the entire offensive line being shifted the wrong direction that led to another thing. He talked about the fact that Drew Pine needs to get rid of the ball, and we need to help him get rid of the ball. I don't know how you help him get rid of the ball quicker. I guess you call the same play that led to Audric Estime going 38 yards for a touchdown. That it's an automatic. It's his first read. But the quarterback at Notre Dame, man, that's no one else. All of the people watching, everyone in the chat, you and I on screen, there's only one person in here that knows what that feels like to be the quarterback at the University of Notre Dame.
That's real.
So if you are saying, oh, man, look, that's nice to hear. Execution is nice to hear. We might be tired of the word, but that's his word. Practice. We might get tired of hearing practice. That's Marcus Freeman. Like, he is consistent. You got to impress him in practice, and we need to execute, and the other word is finish. We have to finish. We heard Prince Colley talking about we have to put teams away. We got to learn how to finish. Sometimes for whatever reason, because every football team is different. The football program can be consistent, but every team is different from a chemistry standpoint, personnel standpoint. Like, people leave, new people come in. Each year, things change. Every team is different. And this team is just, hopefully it's going to be that 10-3 Notre Dame team that could have been a top 5 team, could have pushed for the college football playoff, played well enough to beat Ohio State, came up short. And they'll look back on it 20 years from now when they come back to Notre Dame and say, man, we really had an opportunity to be really good. We just didn't get it done. That's as frustrated as the Navy game could have been for a lot of people. At the end of the day, it gave me a piece about this football team. Because I love the football team. I love the squad regardless. I love the program regardless. I love the direction that Marcus Freeman is taking it. I fully believe in his vision, and I fully believe in his ability to recruit at a much higher level than what was done previously.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So from a trajectory standpoint, to get to a national championship, the odds, in my opinion, have gone up and increased for the program and for the fan base. It's been long enough. 1988 has been long enough. It's been long enough. So, and I said it yesterday, as much as we could critique Drew Pine, and this ain't on Drew Pine. And before Tyler got hurt, it wasn't on Tyler. That's why that Drew Pine record as a starting quarterback is misleading. The inconsistency and the culture of this team, just this team, has nothing to do with the quarterbacks. They're part of the recipe that makes up the outcome. But the inconsistency goes from coaching staff to assistants, everybody in the room, for whatever reason, just couldn't get right.
Just couldn't get right.
And even though they just couldn't get it all right, they still have a chance to sweep November and get 2 top 10 wins in November and then end it with a bowl win. That's, what I'm saying? And that is what you're looking at. Like, forget all of the other stuff. They can end this season with 2 top 10 wins and a bowl win. And if we get that, absolutely, you expect them to be one of the top 10 teams from odds going into next season to win a national championship.
That's something you want to hang your hat on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the challenge will be you cannot allow, and I'll say this, I think this coaching staff and this team allowed Ohio State to beat them twice. Yeah. I think they put so much emotion and preparation into Ohio State that when they lost, they carried that with them into the Marshall game, and they allowed Ohio State to beat them twice.
Well, we threw 2 pick sixes, so I mean,
yeah, but you just saw emotionally there was no urgency. They weren't into it emotionally. I don't think mentally I don't think they had recovered from the Ohio State game. And then I'll take it a step further. You cannot allow your performance against Navy to let you get beaten by BC. And that's why I said the theme for the show is save USC for later. You can't let the end of Navy and looking forward to USC cause you to fall to BC. Because those are the traps. Those are the traps going into this game. It's senior day. It's BC. BC has struggled all year. Offensive line, defensive line, can't stop the run, can't protect the quarterback, yada, yada, yada. Yet and still, they go to North Carolina State on their senior day, and they pull out a victory with the backup quarterback. You cannot allow the disappointment from Navy, along with looking ahead. Look, this team knows. They know what's at stake next Saturday, prime time in the Coliseum. They know.
They know.
They know. They know. You can tell kids not to look forward all you want to.
All you want to.
They look forward. They know the schedule. They know. They cannot allow Navy and looking forward to USC to beat them on Saturday. And I was happy to hear Coach Freeman say on a Monday that his guys were going to be hungry. We're going to be hungry for BC. I'm like, okay, cool. That's just like I heard him say on Monday prior to Clemson, my guys are ready to go. Okay. That lets me know you have the temperature of your team. I think that's why he's so confused, right? Because he feels like he has the temperature of his team. He knows what he's going to get, and then they come out and do what they do in the second half. And he's just like, man, I thought I knew what we were going to do, but we didn't get it done.
We didn't get it done.
We didn't do this right. We didn't do that right. And that's where we're at as a team. We have to save USC for later. They're not going anywhere. I understand they play UCLA this weekend. I understand that's huge implications for them as far as the Pac-12 and the Pac-12 championship. Has nothing to do with us. Either way, they're going to be a ranked team. Either they're going to have 1 loss or 2 losses. And it's going to be a big game. Prime time, Saturday night. That's it. That's it. And it's the game we need to come away with those 2 big wins in November, sweet November, and get to the ultimate goal of building towards that national championship and that ultimate historical signing day.
That's right.
On December 21st. Like we decide how we end our season. We care less about USC, everybody else. What we have in front of us now is the reality that we created as a program. Go take care of business. Leave November.
That's what it's about.
But don't sleep on this Boston College team.
No.
Don't do that. I'm happy to hear that they're hungry. Happy to hear they're hungry. So he did talk about the freshmen, Jabron Payne, Jalen Sneed, they got in. And he hinted that they purposely held them back so that they would be able to play 4 games and not lose their red shirt. So that was the reasoning. He said that's why they went with Jalen Sneed in certain situations against Navy when they brought in certain personnel, and Jabron Payne was on kickoff special teams. And they want to get him more involved because they want them to play in the games for the rest of the last 2 games of the season. And Marcus Freeman, you know, when talking about that, talked about how important it is to put on a good show for Kenny Minchy and the other recruits that'll be there on Saturday. And this is what he had to say.
You're talking about like showing that to high school? Yeah, it's that, you know, the guys you're recruiting, they all want to come in and start. That's the reality of it, that they all think they will and they all want to. And so the ability to show them, if you're good enough, you're going to play at Notre Dame, right? And that's exciting to them because that's all they want to see, right, is that, hey, do I have the ability to be this guy, right? Do I have the, yeah, because they all think they're Michael Mayers. They all think they're, as I used to say last year, the Kyle Hamiltons of the world that come in and start as freshmen, the Ben Morrisons now. And there might be 1 or 2, there might be a few, but the ability to show them that, hey, you can be this guy. Then when they get here, you got to figure it out, right? Then when they get here, you got to show them that there might be a couple that play early, but the ones that aren't, there's also some great stories of guys that preserve and you know what, when their time is right, they're able to contribute and do some great things for this program to help us win at a high level.
Malik, you always tell me there's a year to a year and a half, maybe 2-year period for everybody that comes through the Notre Dame program to prove yourself.
Yeah.
And if you miss that opportunity, man, I don't know if you're ever going to get on the field.
Yeah, it's that quick. It's rare, you know, that you get a lot of chances. Like Shaun Crawford is a rare story. Shaun was able to bounce back and still play at a high level each time, but you know, usually it's just a long way sledding. Nowadays, the window is just a little tighter just because we got dudes in each class now. We're not a program that's a team that's relying heavy on only senior leadership. We're going to start relying on those freshmen like Ben Morrison. I mean, we want to be able to not only use that as a teach tape, but a recruiting piece as well. I mean, we got a freshman starting against the number 4 team in the country, being that productive. That's an attractive thing to keep that gravy train rolling of top recruits. So we won our Super Bowl recruitment night, and the result of that is getting guys like Kenny Minchey to decommit right on time, right on time for us to solidify what we want to be able to build for next year.
Yeah, and it's good to hear, right? And we talk about it all the time. Your product on the field is the greatest. That's why Notre Dame can always. Look, Harry Heastand being the offensive line coach is a bonus.
Yes.
You can put any offensive line coach in there. Notre Dame is going to attract offensive linemen. Why? Because of the offensive linemen and the product that they've been able to put on the field consistently. It's there. The track record is there. It's undeniable. Kids know if I go to Notre Dame and play offensive line, I'm getting that look. I'm getting to the next level.
Yeah, you getting there.
You're getting there. If I go to Notre Dame and play tight end, I'm getting to the league.
Oh, I'm going. Hardest part was getting over.
I'm going. I just watched Julian Okwara. Dude, just chase Justin Fields all day Sunday. Mike Elston had a track record of bringing in guys, developing them, and getting them to elite. That's the attraction to any program. That's the attraction to any program. And hopefully this 23 class is starting that in several other rooms. Thankful that what you just brought up. Hopefully Benjamin Morrison is starting a trend. Hopefully he starts a 3-year trend. I'm not selfish, Left. I don't even want Benjamin Morrison here more than 3 years.
Yeah, we didn't have Julian.
Give us 3 years.
3 years.
Absolutely. Give us 3 years and bounce. Because that helps the program out. Give us 3 great years, bounce, first round, and let the classes see. Oh, if I go there, I can start as a freshman, play 3 years, and get to the league. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. So, I want to close things up. We'll talk some more Boston College, Marcus Freeman, what he had to say about that team, how dangerous they are. And pretty much he told the media Zay Flowers is probably the most dynamic wide receiver they'll face all year. Which is very interesting because I thought the North Carolina wide receiving core was pretty good.
Ohio State receivers core pretty good.
Ohio State was pretty good. So, but he said Zay Flowers. I think they caught Harrison Jr. before he got in his groove. Before he really started going this year.
Yeah.
Maybe our defensive backs had something to do with him not catching a groove against Notre Dame.
That's also very true.
That's why I feel good. I do. I feel good about the fact that they're probably about to face Jordan Addison and Zay Flowers back-to-back weeks. And I feel good about the matchup. I really do. And I don't know the last time I felt good about a Notre Dame secondary facing an elite wide receiver.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time either.
But I feel good about the ability of the secondary to defend.
Yeah,
without question.
Without question. I think we're up for the challenge at the least.
Yeah.
At the least, we're up for the challenge. And a lot of that is because we've been battle tested this year so far. And we're saving the best for last in SC. But to be able to have the game experience in big moments against a Clemson's receiver unit that's not bad either. We just made them look more inept. But when they're against other teams, they go crazy as well. So to limit Ohio State to 21, I think that was all the confidence we needed to not be too threatened by a receiver core, knowing that we're going against some of the best. And this is another example and another chance for veterans like Cam and Brandon Joseph and even Al Golden to be able to scheme things to show how we're able to manage your best player. I think defensively we've been able to win on a strategy standpoint of taking away some of the things that teams really like to do, like we saw from Clemson. And at worst, we may take away your best player and give your second best player their best game.
Yeah.
But we I'm okay with that, as long as the number one player ain't doing good, I guess. But we're gonna tighten up the ends on some of that other stuff as well.
Thanks. So we want to give some shouts out, right? We'll talk a little bit of recruiting before we get to that special time of the show. Shout out to Kenny Minchy. Congratulations, young man, on your decommitment, number one. Your visit to Notre Dame, number two. But it was announced this morning that you will be partaking in the All-American Bowl on NBC. So congratulations. He will be a quarterback in the All-American Bowl on NBC. Congratulations to you, young man. 6'1", 185, 2023 athlete wide receiver. Khalil Barnes, who was in for the Clemson game, he set a commitment date of December 16th, and it's coming down between Oklahoma, Clemson, and Notre Dame, with most people believing that is pretty much between Clemson and Notre Dame, but Notre Dame, after that visit on November the 5th, has the lead, and things are trending in the right direction. Also, Caleb Smith, look for him to be making a decision or setting a commitment date really soon. He also came in for the Clemson game. He was a Texas Tech commit. He decommitted from Texas Tech, and now we wait to see if he will be the fourth wide receiver in the 2023 class to join before the athlete Khalil Barnes from Norfolk County, Georgia, actually makes his decision on December the 16th. And then for the 2024 class, Notre Dame made the top 10 for 2 elite players. Running back Aeneas Williams released his top 10. Notre Dame's in there. And defensive end Elijah Rushing out of Arizona released his top 10. Notre Dame made his top 10 as well. So the 2024 class is building steam as well. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We greatly appreciate your support. The climb to 3,000 is real. We're right there. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube page, please do so. Leave your comments. We always respond to the comments. We appreciate you. We are now available Apple Podcasts and Spotify over at CFB Nation in conjunction with Irish Breakdown. 5 stars. You can leave it for us. Let us know how much you appreciate the podcast. Go download right now. Set up the automatic download and let everybody know we are on CFB Nation, along with great content like guys like John Garcia, who's over the recruiting for SI and the SI Top 99. All of the great content that's on CFB Nation. Lock in. We greatly appreciate you. And make sure you follow Malik Zaire at Malik Zaire 8, Instagram and Twitter, SD2 Mics. Overtime Malik on Instagram for Left, and Lucky Lefty Pod at Lucky Lefty Pod on Twitter and Instagram, Lucky Lefty Podcast. We spin it different. Bro, it's been a great show. Appreciate you breaking down Kenny Minchy, but you know what time it is.
Petticoat, 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 Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty historic? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, petty story of the day, brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. I'm throwing the baby on the petty train, bro.
I'm throwing on a petty train.
Man, this dude is on Math Hoffa talking about he's Eminem level of lyricism, and you know, you got to bring Drake and J. Cole for me. There's nobody else for me right now. Man, look, go take the money you have, recover from the losses that you're taking right now, and relax. And give yourself a chance to make a comeback. Because you're talking crazy right now, bro. What? Eminem level of lyricism? And look, honestly, I don't even think Eminem is like top 5 all-time lyricist. That's just my opinion, right? My repertoire of lyricists that I could choose from and have knowledge of is far too deep to even put Eminem in my top 5. I wouldn't put the baby in my top 100.
Damn. He's got some good lyrics.
I wouldn't put him in my top 100.
It's a lot of people.
It
Maybe
is.
not top 20.
It is.
You for real? Or you just playing?
This is funny. He said, you're crazy if you don't think M is top 5 unless you're going way back. Well, you must be really young if you have M in your top 5, or you just don't have knowledge of hip hop.
He ain't like LeBron, a hip hop historian.
Right. He must be like LeBron. Like claiming he read the books and really didn't. Like, no, him is not a top 5 all-time lyricist. He's just not. Ashley Hill said Shock G. Wait a minute. He said, wait. Yeah, P-Dub said, Tom, you bugging right now. But Ashley Hill said Shock G is better than the baby. Yeah. Dude, look, for him to say that, man. Dude, I had to throw him on the petty train, bro. I had to.
That's crazy.
I had to throw him on the petty train. And for those of you, I keep throwing you on the petty train every week, that thought Patrick Mahomes was going to fall off because of one wide receiver.
Patrick Mahomes is too good at football, man. With the good coaching.
Yeah. That's a crazy combination. Question for you. When you watch film, do you watch Kenny Minchey's film as we get ready to close and say, yo, especially when he gets out of the pocket? Certain guys as quarterbacks, they get outside the pocket and it's not a panic when they get outside the pocket. I watch Kenny Minchey and I'm like, yo, that's very Bryce-like.
That's it. That's what I was saying. He's like that Bryce athleticism that you're like, he's not running to get away from people.
Right.
He's slippery enough to buy enough time to get away from people. Like a guy be closing in and he'll just step a little bit more out and complete the football. So
yeah. Lucky Lefty, man. Great show today. We appreciate you guys. We'll have the podcast up in about 30 minutes. Go download it, man. Take us with you everywhere. Apple, Spotify, connection with CFB Nation, and in conjunction with Irish Breakdown. All right? Climb 3000 is real. We appreciate you, LL Nation. We'll have another great show tomorrow where we'll dig deeper into Boston College and what Marcus Freeman has to say, along with player reactions from their press conferences and the offensive and defensive coordinators tomorrow as well. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Have a great day. But most of all, make sure that you spin it different.